Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to New Comic Book Day, Wednesday, June 22nd. It's 2 days after my birthday. Had a very good birthday. Thank you very much for asking, even though you probably didn't, but that's okay. Anyhow, this is my weekly. Hopefully, I'm going to keep it weekly for a little while. We'll see. It's been worked out pretty good so far. I've been doing this about a month now, I think. Weekly New Comic Book Day show I call the Comic Hall. My name is Dylan. I have a show on the weekends called Dylan Knows. I'm up to episode the 120s, 130s, 140s, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 140s. I'm in the 140s right now. So I got another one on Saturday night at 9 o'clock. So if you like what you see here and you like to see something different, it's pretty cool. Anyway, this is my quick show. I'll be in and out probably within about 20 plus minutes because I don't have really much to say. But this is my show, The Comic Hall. Every week I buy comics and I tell you about them and try to convince you to go out and buy your comics as well, because you might be interested in these. Now, the interesting about this one is this week is I didn't really have a chance to peruse them before I did the show. So I'm just sort of going by, I put them in order as I usually do, but I haven't looked inside them like I usually do or checked anything out about them yet. So just bear with me on this one, okay? So what I do is I divide it by DC, Marvel, and Independence. There's not a lot really this week. I guess, with the 5 Wednesdays in June, it gets kind of hard to spread stuff out a little bit. So we'll see what happens. So I'll do another one next week, hopefully. We'll see, because there might not be a lot of stuff coming out, but we'll see. But this is this week's The Comic Hall. So we can start here with DC like I always do. DC is in the middle of their rebirth. They're going to be doing their rebirth probably until about September. So just keep an eye on that. Now, DC's also been doing multiple covers for their rebirth books. So the covers I show you might not be the ones that A, you want to get, or B, are the official covers, but these are the ones that I want to get and you might be interested in. So without further ado, I did the DC in alphabetical order this week. We've got Action Comics number 958. This is the second issue of the Action Comics Rebirth storyline, and that's this isn't the official cover. This is the variant cover. This is Superman and Lex Luthor. It's written by Dan Jurgens with art by Patrick Zurcher, and it's pretty good. Typical stuff. They're going to be fighting Doomsday, and it's Superman and Lex Luthor, Superman and Clark Kent's in there, and Jimmy Olsen. So it's all kinds of crazy, confusing, insane stuff. So we're not exactly sure what's going on. But yeah, we've got some pretty good artwork. Patrick Zurcher is pretty good, and Superman is. I did not enjoy the Superman New 52, but this I seem to be enjoying immensely. The new Superman stuff coming up. So it'll be good. So pick up your Action Comics, number 958. These are all ones that came out this week. Next up in alphabetical order is Aquaman number 1. Aquaman Rebirth was a couple weeks ago. Let's see if I can get a better picture, which is a better view where there's not as much shadow, but there it is. This is the main cover, I think, for Aquaman number 1. It's written by Dan Abnett. Where's the creative team? Probably somewhere in the middle here. Yeah, that's right. Dan Abnett's writer, Brad Walker's penciler, Andrew Hennessy is inker. So Aquaman's pretty good. And the only thing I'm worried about is how and when they're going to be changing him over to the DC Universe Aquaman, which I am not a big fan of. I'm sure we will see how it is soon enough, but nice clean artwork by Brad Walker, and Aquaman looks interesting. So it was one of those that I thought maybe I wasn't going to follow through with, but looking at it now, I might end up getting it instead, so it might be pretty good. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 935. This is the second part of the Rebirth one. This is the variant cover featuring Batwoman and Batman, who are going to be in the series together as a team. It's written by James Tynion IV, art by Eddie Burrows, and inks by Eber Ferreira. Again, nice artwork and more Batman-esque family. You're going to have a lot of the Batwoman's, Clayface, Batgirls, well, not Batgirl, but the different types of Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, and the Spoiler, and all this stuff. So this is the team. So it's basically Detective has become like a team book. So it's pretty good. So good stuff for Batman. So Detective Comics number 935. All right, next up is Flash number 1. I think this is the variant cover on this one also. This is the Flash number 1. Joshua Williamson is the writer. Carmine Di Giandomenico is the artist. And we start off with a retelling of the Flash's origin. And just taking a look around in it. I guess there's some Wally West appearances and Iris, and I got to follow up and read what's going on with this. So we'll see what's going on with that. So the Flash number 1, pretty good. As I said, I haven't had a chance to peruse them yet, so if I look a little out of this, because why? Finally, new this week, we have Wonder Woman number 1. This is the main cover. The variant is drawn by Frank Cho, but I figured I like the main cover on this one. It's written by Greg Rucka with art by Liam Sharp. He's the artist entirely. So Greg Rucka back on Wonder Woman is amazing. So I can't wait to peruse this and read this. And it looks like the cheetah might be making an appearance in this, or the hyena, or whatever you want to call these things. But should be interesting. So Greg Rucka on Wonder Woman. Gotta love it. All right, that's all the stuff that came out. Well, actually, all the Rebirth stuff that came out new for Marvel this week, or from DC this week. I've got 2 more books for DC. One is a Rebirth from last week, and one is a regular book. Last week, I decided I wasn't going to buy it because I needed to save my money because I was getting a lot of stuff. I was like, you know what? It's a light week this week. May as well get it. My store still had it, so why not? It's Green Arrow number 1. This came out last week. I figured, why not? Check it out and get it. And I did. It's written by Benjamin Percy with art by Otto Schmidt. So it teams Black Canary and Ollie back together again. And pretty interesting palette and artwork. So should be interesting to check that out as well. All right. And then the other new one that came out last week. So I picked it up today. So I'm going to add it to my I'll add it to. There we go. Sorry about that. I froze for a second. But I added to my haul for today because I actually did buy today. And then this also came out today. This is Adventure Supergirl number 4. Basically, this is based on the TV series that was on CBS, is now going to be on the CW next season. Sterling Gates is the writer, and Carmine Carnero is the artist. Now, I don't know if they're the artists for the entire book, but what this is DC does a bunch of digital first books. And this is a digital first book, and they release them weekly. There's like, it's like a 5-page, 8-page story that they release. I think it's weekly or every couple weeks, something like that. And people who don't go digitally, they might want to read it as well and read the stuff as well. So then they make floppies collecting like 3 or 4 of the issues that were digital into one comic. So if you like the Supergirl from the comics, I'll pick that up. Sterling Gates, I always like his work. That's all my DC stuff. Marvel this week continues their Civil War II stuff. Now, I wasn't really going to buy too much Civil War II stuff. I didn't buy the X-Men one last week because I wasn't really into it. But again, this week, low stuff, and I figured, this might look pretty good. This is Civil War II Choosing Sides number 1. It's basically a collection of 3 short stories, and they're going to be doing this. They're going to take a look at different heroes in the Marvel Universe and how they're reacting to Civil War II, those who aren't featured in regular books. This one features a Nick Fury story written by Declan Shalvey, which is fantastic. Night Thrasher, written by Brandon Easton with artist Paul Davidson, and Damage Control, written by Chad Bowers and Chris Sims with art by Leonardo Romero. So let's look at the Nick Fury one. Declan Shalvey is a pretty good artist, and of course, to match up with what's going on in the MCU, Nick Fury is a Samuel L. Jackson black guy. So we get to see his take on what he thinks. Night Thrasher was on the New Warriors. And here he is coming back to life, fighting bad guys and stuff like that. So we get to find out what's going on during the Civil War with him and see when he goes in. Damage Control is one of my favorite ideas, and I wish they would make a TV show about it, and I would love to write it. But basically, it's about regular people, regular Joes, who run a reconstruction company that, after big battles take place in the Marvel universe, they get called upon by the city to clean up the mess left behind. So, the damage, take care of it, they control the damage. So damage control, whenever you get a new damage control book, it's always good. So choosing side number 1, as I said, that's probably just for this issue. The next issue of choosing sides will probably have 3 different stories in it with 3 different characters, so that aren't going to be appearing in the Civil War II saga, as it were. Since we are getting into Civil War II now, we are getting into the crossovers with the regular series. You're going to see this a lot more. This is Totally Awesome Hulk number 7, written by Greg Pak with art by Alan Davis, and inks by Mark Farmer. Frank Cho used to be the artist on it, but he can't really stay on a book for too long because he takes forever to draw. But Alan Davis is a talent that's been around for ages, so he gets his Hulk here. So this is the Hulk take on Civil War II and what side he's going to choose and stuff like that. And guest appearance by Iron Man because he's one of the main people in Civil War II. So if you collect regular Marvel comics, they're going to be crossover, and let you know about that. So you'll have to read them, but you should be able to just get these books and not have to read Civil War proper, though. So we'll see. Now, I want to explain something real quick. That was Totally Awesome Hulk number 7. Now, I came to Totally Awesome Hulk after the first issue came out. Actually, it was technically like after the 3rd issue came out. But this is back when I was getting back into comics, but I wanted to check out Frank Cho's artwork because he's a local guy and I like his artwork. But my store didn't have any more number 1s. They had number 2s and 3s, and so I picked those up. And so I was hoping I'd pick up number 1, maybe in the back issue bin. Couldn't find it in the back issue bin. Maybe I could pick it up at another store. I had never went and checked any other stores or whatever, so I just was, okay, maybe I'll get it at the Baltimore Comic-Con or I'll figure it out. Marvel has done something else now they call Timely Comics. Timely Comics used to be their name back in the 1940s and 30s and stuff like that before they were Marvel Comics. And they're bringing it back for like mini trade paperbacks. For those who want to get into a new series but don't want to wait for the trade or don't want to pay the insane amount for a trade, they collect the first 3 issues in their comic and charge you $3. So it's $1 a story, basically. So you actually are saving money because it costs $2.99 to $3.99 otherwise to get those books. But in this case, Totally Awesome Hulk number 1, Timely Comics, came out. So I was like, it has a reprint of the first issue, which I do not have. So I'll pick this up. It also has issues 2 and 3 all in one big story. So this is some of Frank Cho's gorgeous artwork from the first one, and then we get into like number 2, and then we get into like number 3. So it's 3 issues combined into one story, so you can get caught up pretty quickly if you want to. And the trade will be coming out soon if you want to continue the story, or if you're lucky, maybe your store will still have it. But that's why I decided to get it, because I do have issues 2 and 3, but I figured I don't have issue 1. This is probably the cheapest way I can get it because I don't care about making money on it, whatever. I just want to read the story. So there's that. So I can get caught up real quickly because I have all the other issues of Totally Awesome Hulk, so I can get caught up on that. Finally, something that is not related to Civil War is Nighthawk number 2. Nighthawk is a member of the Squadron Supreme, which is a great series, always has been a great series, great characters. I haven't been able to get into the new series yet. I might buy the trade this weekend when we have the half-price trades at my store. But Nighthawk is basically like Batman, and this is written by David F. Walker with art by Ramon Villalobos, and it is more of a grown-up, adult-oriented style comic, as Nighthawk is cleaning up Chicago. So hugely violent, lots of blood and gore, violence, stuff you like, but there's also a pretty good story behind it as well. And it's basically, Marvel used to have that a more adult imprint. It's like their version of that if they had that. So Nighthawk #2 came out. So you might still be able to get #1 as well. That's it for Marvel. I've only got 3 independents, and then I'm going to leave you early today. So let me get a drink here real quick. All right. My first independent is a series I've talked about a lot, and the newest issue come out now. Back to the Future #9. I've got all the issues. I've read most of them. It's a great series. I love it. They're in the middle of a big storyline right now. And what's great is Bob Gale, who is one of the actual writers of the movie series, is writing the story for the comics with script by John Barber, art by Marcella Ferrera and Athila Fabio, inks by Marcella Ferrero, Athila Fabio, and Tony Doya. So we're doing Back to the Future. They're doing all kinds of, they do some time traveling, but the first couple issues is more of a fact, frequently asked questions about the series, and they gave them answers about it. This is the first one, as I said, that has a major storyline going on with them going through time trying to solve a case, a crime, or whatever. So should be pretty good. So it is pretty good from what I've read so far, and so I continue to read that. I highly recommend it. X-Files #3. Before the new miniseries came out back in January, IDW did their own X-Files series. They did 2 seasons of it, about 20 issues of each. And then the new series came out, and they decided to start up again using the history that was used in the series. So his issue #3 of that. It's the Dia de Muertos. It's written by Joe Harris with art by Matthew Doe Smith. Dow Smith, I should say. So it's kind of, it's what you expect from an X-Files story. It's got creepy storyline, and you got Mulder and Scully coming in to investigate the crime and try to solve it and get involved in the supernatural aspect of it. And it's a pretty good likeness of the actors. So looks like Scully's not really in this issue that much. So but it's still pretty good, and X-Files is a good series, so keep that up. Finally, the last one I have is Department H. It's play on words, depth, but Department H, written by Matt Kint with art by Charlene Kint, or actually did Matthew Kint do the artwork also? I'm trying to remember. I think he might have done the artwork also. But Matthew Kint is known for mind management. Everybody loves mind management, so his new book from Dark Horse is about a mysterious, bizarre thing happening under the water, done in that typical independent style. And Matt Kint is a fairly, popular artist. So he's building up suspense and all kinds of creepy stuff. So definitely want to check it out. It's a little bit more heavy than your typical comics, which is another reason why I got it, is because it's to prove to you guys that comics are not all superheroes. It is also stuff like Department H. It's also licensing like Back to the Future and the X-Files. And, it's also uber violent superheroes like Nighthawk, and then your typical superheroes and stuff like that. So comics are definitely worth a look into, worth saving. It's worth going into your comic book store to find something you might like. And that's one of the reasons why I do the show, is to try to go and show you some of the artwork and tell you this is what came out this week and what you might want to be interested in buying, and just to get you out to investigate your store and see what's going on. So my store is great. It's got comics, it's got new comics, it's got comics from 2 to 3 months ago in case I need to get caught up. It's got lots of back issues, and it's got independent and Marvel and DC issues as well. It's got lots of toys and children's section and trade paperbacks and baseball cards and glasses and posters and stuffed animals and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I highly recommend you go check out your comic book stores. They aren't like what they used to be. They're not creepy anymore, and they're actually really cool, and it's fun to go to. So and most places will have special events on the weekends, discounts, stuff like that. My store does one every weekend, so it's fun. As I said, they do trades 50% off, so I can pick up a lot of trades that way to get caught up on things. So other stuff did come out this week. This is just stuff that I bought. There was a bunch of other stuff that came out that I just haven't been buying and had no interest in buying, but there were a lot of stuff that came out this week. Saw some good trades I want to get. I'm going to get the Red Wolf trade, and I'm going to get maybe the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur trade. So they all came out this week as well, and some other stuff as well. Tobin's Spirit Guide came out this week. That's attached to Ghostbusters. That's kind of cool. But no, I only have so much money, and I only could afford to get what I wanted to get, and I got what I wanted to get. So I will go back probably this weekend to get half price on the trades, but that's about it. So on that note, I'm going to say goodnight. Another quick one. Next week should be even quicker because there's probably not going to be a lot coming out next week. And if there's not a lot coming out next week, I might not do one at all because it is a fifth week, and a fifth week is crazy. But previews is coming out next week, and I might use the episode just to look through some of the stuff that's coming out in 2 months. So catch me maybe next weekend. If not, it'll be I guess the Wednesday after 4th of July. So we'll see you then. You can see me again on Saturday, 9 p.m. when me and my co-host Jerry Fletcher do Dylan Knows Lists. We'll be doing the top 10 Tim Burton films. So other than that, I've got nothing else to say. So have a pleasant evening.